yogi who are not so evolved, not so knowledgeable. For them, one can understand this being a rough and tortuous path. But those who are following the Gyan path, for them, pride in the body is something that they should be getting over relatively easily or much earlier in their journey.
So that is why in this sentence which she was reading earlier, the person who is caught up in Maya is being referred to in terms of having greater problem. And then therefore it has been explained subsequently in another sentence that by practicing Shravanam is basically listening to, Shravan is to listen. Constantly listening to subjects which are related to Nirgun Nirakar, which is also to say listening to or reading Upanishads and Gita, you become tempered to understand how you should let it go. Which is what I'm explaining also as to how this process of superimposition happens and how that has to be desuperimposed is what we'll try and understand as we go forward. Okay. But that practice will come only after you have become ready. At 2 point.
I understand like this correctly. That ultimately that imperishable and going like going on the imperishable path is little difficult for everyone. Everyone cannot adopt that path. So जैसे कहते हैं कहीं तो शुरू करो तो साकार से शुरू करना बिकॉज हम बॉडी अपने आप को बॉडी इम्पोर्टेंट समझते हैं तो हम भी एक किसी बॉडी के साथ अटैच हो सकते हैं तो साकार पार्ट से हमने प्रेयर्स एंड अटैचमेंट एक शुरू किया बट जैसे जैसे एज वी गो further in the life when we reach to near to the end or like quite more mature and all that spiritually and all that then we start thinking कि अरे हम तो कुछ भी नहीं then the person starts thinking and realizing कि मैं तो कुछ नहीं हूँ मीन्स वो निराकार वाली बात का फीलिंग आना शुरू हो जाता है और वो निराकार की adoption आना शुरू हो जाता है I think that is
Yeah. So this is in various forms. You have related one way. Now, always it has been said the path to the Nirgun is Sagun. Whilst the ultimate truth is Nirgun, Sagun is also considered to be the truth. But it is the truth for as a path. Okay, I'm just giving you an analogy to this. I go to a temple which is, let's say, some distance away across the bridge. You have to climb some 100 steps to reach up to the temple. So as we are going to the temple and we cross the bridge and the steps come, we bow our head and touch the steps. The steps are the path to that particular final deity. But we pay our obeisance to it because it is enabling us. It is the path which is coming in our way. It is to be. It is helping us to take us to that deity. So this Sagun also is, in a sense, therefore taking us to that ultimate truth. So this is Sadhan Satya. Wo Antim Satya. If you are forgetting along the way that मेरे को अंतिम सत्य तक पहुंचना है तो आप साधन सत्य में ही रह जाएंगे जो हमारे साथ समय हम लोगों के साथ होता है जब हम भक्ति करते हैं तो हम किसी हनुमान किसी देवी किसी प्रतिमा की भक्ति करते हैं और हम उसी से सब कुछ याचना करके सब कुछ प्राप्त करते हैं वो प्राप्त करना अच्छा है उसमें कोई वो नहीं है परंतु ये नहीं भूलना है कि हमें जो है वो अंतिम सत्य है उसको पाना है There is nothing wrong with asking, taking, bowing down to all the favorite deities we have. But keeping in mind, that is what will be said as we go along also in this chapter, that that which is ultimate is the goal we have. We can always get all the desires fulfilled, right, from the gods we have, except we can't get moksha.
Unless we have a desire for moksha, we will not.
We don't understand moksha, so we can't have a desire. When we start understanding moksha, then we say, yes, if there's a possibility, we should get that, right? Okay. So now he's saying that it is difficult by itself to practice what is sadhan satya or sagun sakar, and to talk of nirgun nirakar, it's even more difficult. And now, therefore, we'll talk about nirgun nirakar a little later. So let's first finish what is to be done for sagun sakar, the upasanas for that, the worship, the ways to worship that which is sagun sakar. Right? That's okay? Is it okay? This aspect is okay? Some very small and important pieces which come here. Yeah. So we go to 1206.
Surrender of all actions and its outcomes. But those who surrender all their actions to me, Ishwar, with devotion to me, meaning regarding me their ultimate goal, being like this, with the practice of single mindedness, meaning there is dependence only on universal form of the ultimate Lord and in none other. With such undivided, complete concentration, Samadhi Yoga, without any other object of thought, they worship me. What happens to them?
Yeah, so we'll just take a moment here. So we saw in the last chapter, the last shloka saying that you perform actions only for me, मेरे को ही समर्पित करके, mat mat karm is actions for me, mat bhakt become somebody who is devoted only to me, and then uh, and treat me to be the final goal destination. So it is getting repeated in a sense here. Okay. Now here, therefore, after treating me as the final goal, after devoting myself only to that one, okay, single-mindedly, and performing all comes and dedicating all karmas to that Ishwar alone, and uh, then I start uh, concentrating or focusing or meditating or integrating my mind, samadhi yoga से मेरा चिंतन. So you are now in samadhi yoga, in a state in which you have become, you're dissolving yourself almost as if in that single person, that deity, and you meditate on that deity. So you do all these karmas, this way of devotion, and then you are totally dedicating yourself and meditating, focusing on that single deity with complete concentration. So this is one way of worshipping Sagun Sakar. What happens to them? जो इस तरह से करते हैं उपासना, उनका क्या होता है बताइए.
Hey Parth, he whose mind, intellect is solely engaged in my universal form, Parameshwar, those engaged in the worship of only me, one Parameshwar, I, Ishwar, is the one who liberates such devotees. What do I liberate them from? From the ocean of this worldly life leading to death. I liberate them not after a long time, but very soon, for they have concentrated on my universal form.
Yeah. So he says that if you worship me like this and you build your concentration, your ekagrata in me, then I liberate you from this particular life, which consists of death as well. Okay, so he is confirming that fully. So next, Steve.
Since this is so, you stabilize your own indecisive man in me, the universal form Ishwar, and stabilize your decisive confirmed mind, buddhi, in me. What will accrue as benefit to you? So listen. After this, on the death of your body, you will undoubtedly dwell as one with me in me. You should not doubt this.
So very clearly, he said that if you perform this worship, this upasana, and you dedicate your mind totally to me, okay, then you will surely, after your death, dwell in me. So this is clear. Any question?
When mentioned that solely engaged in my universal form Parmeshwar,
Okay.
so it could be any form that.
So here the interpretation is that I am treating that Vishwa Darshan Roop to be present every time I see anything in this Vishwa. Now, let's try and take an example. Okay, I see this club, I see this chair, I see this lamp, see this carpet, see this room. All this is actually Vishwa Darshan Roop. It is his form, it is his universal form which is manifesting itself in all this.
Whatever.
So it is saying that this universe, the way it is existing, it is manifesting, it is all in the form of his own Vishwadarshan, cosmic form, universal form.
Whatever manifestation.
Yes.
Somewhere it was said, no, that I don't remember the chapter or stroke where says that everything is in me. I am not in anything.
Yeah.
So the world of Maya is in him, in the Vishwadarshan. I assume that
Yeah.
follows.
That's
Chapter
But-
11, I think.
it's there, I think, in 6. Anyway, but yeah, that's not important.
Just that to get a concept, when it's written that focus or engaged or become fixed on the universal form. So just trying to understand that whatever.
So now, so in this understanding, one, I have made everything which I see as his cosmic form. Second, I am also part of that cosmic form. So I am also that universal form. So the universal form is seeing the universal form is the understanding which I start building. Okay. As soon as that becomes one, then the union happens. Then the oneness will happen. Once the seer and the seen collapse,
This last line that dwell as one with me in me.
okay, that's what it means.
So that I assume that leads to there will be no rebirth.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because you are now me.
Yeah, that's right.
I am you, you are me.
Absolutely.
You merged.
Yes.
Since
So
we
now
merged,
the two, which is separate, has become one.
is that physics or is it chemistry?
We'll come to that one day. Huh? There is the discussion in Gita itself.
In this whole scheme, the atheist doesn't figure anywhere.
Sorry?
In this whole scheme, the atheist doesn't figure anywhere.
Yeah, so only those who have Shraddha.
I mean, atheist is another extreme.
Yeah.
They
So
just don't believe in.
only those who have Shraddha are now following this. Okay. Otherwise, they can't follow it. They will treat this to be all humbug. Okay. Yeah. So this is what this particular shloka is pointing to. Okay. So there are other forms of worship, and something was asked here, and we'll come to that as well. Okay. Please.
I'm just debating with you. I think life must be very tough for an atheist because he has no staff to lean on.
No, we'll not.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not too sure. We can come to that. We'll come to it
Yeah,
later. But actually, you become an atheist when sometimes you have too much of gyan. You think you have learned a lot, and therefore you are convinced of the truth that there is no supreme thing because I've studied so much. I'm not convinced, and I'm convinced that my thinking is right.
So
An atheist cannot be an ignoramus. Has to be
Ego,
somebody
na?
with
Super ego, then the other super ego.
yes, there was one more.
And, knowledge.
Instead of getting into that
Yeah,
area,
sorry.
otherwise we'll digress. There was one more question here, which is how does an object become a block for that who is pursuing the worship of Saguru?
An object.
Yes.
What do you mean by object?
Object, कोई भी चीज, manifested चीज. He said that for a person who is pursuing Nirguna, realization of the Nirguna, the block is your own ego, your own pride in the body. Right? Yeah, that is what was said in Shloka 5. So how does an object or anything which is manifested become a block?
You don't understand the essence and
Yeah.
you get attached to it.
Yeah, correct, exactly. So an object can become a block in understanding that universal form which it is all about. This one is not that, and therefore I have stopped looking at it, or I am saying but to that which is the Vishwarup Darshan. That is what could be the block. Because it wants single-minded bhakti devotion. So any object, anything which is manifest, anything, any thought, any idea, any concept could become a block. Because your mind is not.
Seer and seen.
I'm sorry.
It is seer and seen.
The seer and the seen, yeah.
ब्लॉक जो है वो यही हो गया कि सीन और सियर दो दिख रहे हैं, अलग हो गया.
वो ऑब्जेक्ट में भी नहीं काउंट कर रहे हैं. वो जो है that will be more in the nature of how you are understanding that Vishwarup Darshan to be that which is other than you. Because you yourself are also part of that Vishwarup Darshan. Once you realize that, then you become one with that Vishwarup Darshan. So that is right in a sense what you're saying. Seer and seen become one in that case.
Can you give an example of a block? Give an example of a block which comes in the way.
बोलिए.
See, your attachment to a person, is that a block?
Could be your concept,
Or your attachment
could be your own behavior, could be some negative thought which is there, some aversion. Okay. Something you dislike intensely could become a block also. Let's go to the next look. So in 8 it is said, you stabilize your own indecisive man and focus your confirmed mind in me. So in 1209, if you are unable to stabilize and make your mind steadfast in me, यदि ये नहीं कर सकते, then हे Dhananjay, through the yoga of repeated efforts, Abhyas Yoga. So he is giving you an alternative way of worshipping Sagur. Okay. Yoga of repeated efforts, Abhyas Yoga, consisting of pulling the mind away from all directions, focusing it again and again on one object. This practice is called Abhyas. And with that yoga, which is in the form of concentration, ekagrata, with such yoga of repeated efforts, seek to attain me, the universal form, Ishwar. So in the first one, you did samadhi yoga. You sat down and you dissolved yourself in him. Focused so that you were one with him. Okay, you saw the Vishwa Darshan Roop in yourself as well as outside. You as part of the both. And here you have repeatedly practiced. So you come out of that and you go back into it. Through repetition, through abhyas. Okay? And so most of our meditations may fall into this particular category. May. I'll tell you why later on as we finish this, why they may not. Okay? Repeated efforts seeking to attain me with that particular concentration. If you are unable to make these repeated efforts, okay, which is what happens to most of us, then you enthusiastically perform actions for me. जो कर्म कर रहा हूं मैं तुम्हारे लिए, आपके लिए, भगवान के लिए, ईश्वर के लिए ही कर रहा हूं. This performing actions for me is मद अर्थ कर्म, मतलब मेरे लिए, मेरे अर्थ के लिए ही कर्म. And therefore it is following one characteristic or vibhuti of Ishwar, one glory of Ishwar. It could be his grandeur, भगवान का कोई ऐसा रूप जिसमें ग्रैंड्योर हो, जिसमें शक्ति हो, पावर हो, जिसके अंदर कोई नम्रता हो, जिसके अंदर
Can it be the sunrise?
उसमें क्या चीज मानेंगे आप? ग्लोरी क्या चीज मानेंगे? विभूति क्या मानेंगे?
The light that is coming on.
Perfect, no issue. The brilliance. Yeah. So that particular vibhuti, you consider that to be mine and follow that vibhuti alone. Okay. And treat performing of actions for me as important. तो जो भी वो आप मेरे लिए कर रहे हैं, उस ब्रिलियंस के लिए कर रहे हैं, उस ग्लोरी के लिए कर रहे हैं, treat them to be important. Even without repeated efforts and practice, if you perform actions only for me, by purification of your inner self, so धीरे धीरे करके अंतःकरण की शुद्धि होगी और आपको अटेनमेंट ऑफ नॉलेज, ज्ञान योग होगा, so that you can attain the supreme goal. So this is similar to what we were talking about earlier as Karm Yoga. Okay, so I offer prayers occasionally, but I do it constantly for one particular deity, one particular manifestation of the Vishwaroop. Okay, and as I progress, I will slowly purify my inner self. अंतःकरण की शुद्धि होगी और ये जो ज्ञान योग है, ये मेरे को मिलेगा और ज्ञान योग के द्वारा मेरे को भगवान की, ईश्वर की प्राप्ति होगी. ठीक है? This is more amenable to our realities. Right? Now the next one. But if you're unable to do even the above, यदि आप ये 2-3 चीज़ें जो मैंने पहले कही हैं नहीं कर पाते हैं कि एकदम डिज़ॉल्व, समाधि योग के अंदर बैठ के आप उसमें डिज़ॉल्व हो गए और एक हो गए। दूसरा कि आपने अपने अपनी बुद्धि को केवल मेरे में ही रखा, स्टेडफास्ट करके उसमें एकाग्र कर लिया पूरी तरह से रिपीटेड एफर्ट्स के साथ, वो भी नहीं कर सकते। तो उसके बाद में कहा कि आप जो है केवल मेरे लिए कर्म कर रहे हैं। पहलों में तो आपने कर्म अर्पित कर दिए थे, यहाँ कर्म कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। और ये भी नहीं कर सकते तो अनेबल टू परफॉर्म एक्शंस फॉर मी, absorbed as given above, then surrender all karmas in me and practice this Mad Yoga. So when I say कि मैंने अपने कर्म जो हैं वो सब भगवान पे छोड़ दिए, ऐसे कहते हैं ना हम लोग, या जो कर रहा है वो, जो मैं कर रहा हूँ वो भगवान के लिए ही कर रहा हूँ, या भगवान ही मेरे से करा रहे हैं, ये वो वाली स्टेज है। Then surrender all karmas in me and practice that Mad Yoga. Be dependent on that, and with disciplined mind, meaning with mind dedicated to me, renounce all fruits of actions. So I surrender all actions to Him, and I also renounce all fruits of my actions. This also is a possibility which we may be able to do in our own realm of practices. Yeah.
Like ईश्वर अर्पण कर्म और
ईश्वर अर्पण कर्म से चित्त शुद्धि ही होती है, मगर उसके साथ जो साधना है, बाकी साधना है, वो होंगी तब वो जो है आपकी पहली और दूसरी स्थिति या उपासना कहलाएगी। In a sense, they are of a higher level in the hierarchy.
12.11 which you know.
Correct. So now we move to 12. So what is the least difficult upasana? Okay, least difficult way of worshipping that ultimate Vishwadarshan root, universal cosmic form. Okay, in the Sabgun. Please read.
Doubtlessly, knowledge is superior. Of what? Practice without any discrimination, vivek, and meditation with knowledge is superior to knowledge alone. And in the same way, renunciation of fruits of action is superior to meditation with knowledge.
So now let's understand what is he saying here. नहीं, ज्ञान जो है, नॉलेज जो है वो अच्छी बात है, ठीक है, पर कोई भी चीज हम प्रैक्टिस करें विदाउट विवेक, विदाउट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, तो कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि वो अच्छी बात है। विच इज व्हाट इज सेइंग कि यदि विदाउट नॉलेज, विदाउट विवेक यदि हम कोई चीज प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो उसका कुछ खास मिलेगा नहीं। एंड हमारे में नॉलेज है, समझ है, और हम मेडिटेट करते हैं, दैट इज सुपीरियर टू ओनली नॉलेज, कि मेरे को मालूम है आत्मा है पर मैं मेडिटेट नहीं करता उसमें। मेरे को मालूम है कि इस प्रकार से गीता में लिखा है, पर मैं कुछ उस पर मनन नहीं करता। तो मनन जो है वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है एज कंपेयर टू जस्ट नॉलेज। In the same way, renunciation of fruits of action is superior to meditation with knowledge. मैं मेडिटेट करता हूँ ज्ञान से, समझ से, पर जो renunciation of fruits है, मतलब जो आसक्ति रहित कर्म है, वो जो है वो ज्यादा अच्छा है। ठीक है, तो हम समझ से, ज्ञान से हम ध्यान करें, तो उससे अच्छा जो है हम आसक्ति रहित कर्म करें। ये बात हमको पहले भी छठे अध्याय में उन्होंने बताई थी, पर यहाँ पर अब समझाएंगे क्यों, वाई। ठीक है, चलिए पढ़िए।
The Purush with earlier explained adjectives. Shloka 3. On renouncing the fruits of action, attains peace immediately, meaning dissolves the entire world with its causes immediately.
So, who has been mentioned in shloka number 3? Those people who are following the Nirgun route. Okay, so they are sannyasis, or they, even if they are performing actions, they're performing actions without any desire for the fruits. And once they do that, they are totally going to be dissolved. They'll dissolve this entire universe and they will become one with it. Okay, whichever way you want to look at it, become one with it or dissolve the entire universe, the illusion of this universe. Now we look at the second set of people.
For those ignorant persons performing karmas, for those who are incapable of practicing the above methods, the teaching to renounce the fruits of all action has been given. The renunciation of fruits of actions is given only after suggesting practice of above methods.
Okay, so the above methods are in a sense better if you're following the Sagun Sakar. But if nothing else, at least practice this. Now let's understand.
When all desires get destroyed in the heart, Katho Upanishad, by destruction of all desires, attainment of nectar is told.
So in Katho Upanishad, it is said that if you have destroyed all the desires in yourself, you will attain liberation. Okay, so the focus is on destroying all, getting rid of all desires.
The fruits of all actions, in accordance to Shruti Smriti texts, is desire.
Right. So now let's understand this statement. Any outcome which we have of any action which we perform, okay, that fruit is either liked or disliked. So we either have a desire for it or we have aversion for it. So any fruit can be considered to be that it is desire alone. ठीक है, कोई भी चीज हम करते हैं तो जो उसका फल मिलता है, वो फल अच्छा लगता है या बुरा लगता है? दो ही चीजें हो सकती हैं. अच्छा लगता है तो वो डिजायर उत्पन्न करता है, बुरा लगता है तो वो द्वेष, अवर्जन को उत्पन्न करता है. ठीक है, तो इसको उस प्रकार से राग या द्वेष ही माना जाता है.
Meaning this is satisfaction and dissatisfaction.
Yeah, like will be satisfaction, dislike will be dissatisfaction. ठीक है, आप आगे चलते हैं, पढ़िए.
Renouncing these fruits gives immediate peace to a steadfast wise man.
So as soon as you are renouncing this fruit, वो अच्छा है, बुरा है, उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है, उसको आपने रिनाउंस कर दिया, पहले से ही रिनाउंस कर दिया, जब भी रिनाउंस कर दिया. So what happens? To a wise man, it becomes a very freeing thing. And it gives immediate peace. Now let's look at the next statement.
Even an ignorant person's renunciation of fruits of actions is renouncement of all desires.
Correct. So if an ignorant person is not, he is not somebody who's understanding, who's not got wisdom, who's not ज्ञान में निष्ठ नहीं है और केवल ये करता है, आसक्ति रहित कर्म करता है, तो उसकी भी जो है वो डिजायर्स जो है धीरे धीरे कम होती जाती है. अब डिजायर्स जैसे जैसे कम होती जाएंगी तो कठोपनिषद में कहा ही है कि यू आर गेटिंग क्लोजर टू लिबरेशन. Logic is very clear. If you understand this statement, please read further.
This similarity in renouncement of desires is the reason to praise this renunciation of fruits of action. This is to create zest in sadhak. In this manner, renunciation of fruits of action is given as the method of karma yoga which leads to liberation.
So this has been explained earlier that this is the path of Karma Yoga, and there are various steps which happen after that which lead to liberation. But the importance of how asakti rahit karma, okay, is leading to is very important, is being seen here by understanding this statement that the outcome is actually in the form of a desire or aversion. Okay. And therefore it leads to further action if it's desired, or you block the action if it is aversion. कोई चीज़ अच्छी लगती है तो हमें और करने की उत्साह होती है, कोई चीज़ अच्छी नहीं होती तो हमें उसको नहीं करने का मन होता है. तो वो एक चीज़ दूसरे में बनती जाती है. उसको वहाँ पर हम समझ जाएं कि ये है, ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये बुरा नहीं है, परंतु है तो उतना ही काफ़ी है.
Today I read in the paper a cricketer who's on 98, 99, he always gets out because he keeps thinking, I must hit a century. But if you have a calm mind and don't think about it, then you hit the century.
Yeah.
So it's like that in life also.
Yeah. So various forms of upasanas, worships of Sagun have been taken up here. And the simplest one has been shown as Asakti Rahit Karma. We are performing actions all the time. Can we direct our mind towards performing it without the desire for the outcome? Okay. That's the question. And therefore, various types of actions which you're performing during the day, in some you may be able to apply this. In some you may not be able to apply this. How do you keep moving from one type of actions to another type of actions to apply it, so that slowly your nature becomes that of somebody who is not worried about the outcome and is pursuing the performing of actions. In most of the cases, there are other things to be done as well to bring your mind to, but here the process takes you through that in any case. That's what Gita is saying right from the beginning.
And I
That
feel
is
one,
also-
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, please.
And I feel one can start doing this because there are no frills attached. I mean, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to be with anybody else. It's just your
Your mindset.
your inner thing. I mean, you
Yeah.
just have to keep practicing.
And as soon as you do it once, you would find it works. Second time you'll do it again, it works.
And this helps in getting equanimity of mind.
Also.
This will also lead to.
Absolutely. It is only through those steps of equanimity, etc., as your mind goes through those steps, that it will become more ekagra, more focused. In meditation also. Otherwise, meditation is quite a difficult thing. It's not such an easy thing to do.
So it makes things very easy for us when you leave the outcome completely and you're doing your best and not concerned about the outcome or the fruit. So,
You're not focused or desiring the fruit or
that,
attached to the fruit.
yes,
Attached is different
the
from
sense of-
desiring. Okay. Each word starts making a difference when you start practicing this. Okay, so the subtleties will start coming to you alone.
So what is the difference now that you
See, attachment is different from desiring.
attachment will lead to desire?
Now, all that is
That's all
separate.
this is, yes.
That is a separate set of interactions, right? Desire could lead to attachment. Attachment and desires could keep going round in circles, reinforcing each other.
So if I'm a surgeon, I perform my surgery to the best of my ability and I leave the outcome to the Almighty. So then I can perform it better.
But suppose the outcome is not what you wanted, then what
That's
happens?
what His will be done.
How would you do it? Like as a surgeon, if she's saying, suppose you're performing a surgery, it doesn't go well,
That's
then what
His-
happens after that? Then the next time you do it, there will
No,
be
I've
that.
done my best and that's up to the Lord. He wanted him to live, didn't want him to live.
No, there are many parameters which could have gone wrong in the surgery. Okay, and what you're saying is right, and therefore you examine them. You don't worry about the outcome as such.
But you need to change your behavior. If suppose something you
Yeah,
done
naturally,
wrong,
correct.
so you have to correct.
Yeah,
Then
next
how
time,
does
yeah.
this work in
You
that?
try not to make that error if you recognize your error.
But you do it with a calm mind and
Right.
not blaming yourself or not.
Nothing.
It's a bit complicated.
No. Let's look at it more simply. Okay, the complex situations are there, obviously there, but when we go through the simple ones, then the complex ones also can get handled. Mostly, surgeons are looking at the job very clinically. Okay, they know exactly what the steps are, and they perform those steps very clearly, and they come out really on top. They're not really worried about that outcome as much as the steps.
Yeah.
Right? The process is more important than the outcome to them. The good ones, the great ones, I would say. Things go wrong. And when they go wrong, they go wrong. It could happen because the parameters were not stable in the patient. We took a particular decision too early, or something could go wrong. So, same thing. Suppose I'm flying an aircraft. Everything is set, the protocols are all there. I follow them. But there could be some issue which can always crop up. But if I am handling it with that particular clarity, thought, following the process, chance of anything going wrong is reduced. But if I'm an anxious person, I'm constantly worrying about out of the 88 passengers in this thing who's carrying a bomb or something, then it's a different story.
Chances of things going wrong increase.
Yeah. Now that right and wrong, again, if I am not worried about that, which is what is being said, then I have. When will I not be worried about it? When I am equanimous, when I have certain shraddha, some trust. Okay, whether that trust is in my capabilities or it is in somebody called the Lord, but I trust that. I trust the process is followed to onboard all passengers, the security processes, or anything else. Because we are not operating in a single, मैं करूँगा तो वही बहुत सारे लोगों की साथ में चीज होती है तब जाके कुछ बनता है. हर चीज को तो हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. हम उसमें we we make it as clinical as possible, as process oriented as possible, and then we see that it works repeatedly.
Both the intention and skill should be there, I think.
Intention and
The skill
Yeah.
to do that job and the intention
Right.
to
Intention.
do it for the good or
Yeah.
welfare, and then
Yeah.
be good to go. I mean,
Then
have
you
to-
are keeping a equanimous mind, you're keeping a balanced mind, you're having a calm mind, peaceful mind.
What, like the mind is calm,
Correct.
then you are not like concerned, or you are not getting perturbed by the results. Like
Absolutely right.
good result or a bad result, you will see as the same.
Absolutely.
with the same-
And as soon as you start finding that happen in your mind, then as you face more and more complex situations, your mind remains.
stable there.
Take a simple one in a simple case, your mind will not get disturbed. Slowly the practice develops.
You definitely have to keep sharpening up your skill.
Naturally,
Yes.
correction, orientation, everything is required. And that is what they say. If you have the capability, which is the starting point of all discussion, then do your karma according to your capability.
So Arjun was so skilled in his.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he is getting distracted by the emotion. So he is being told this again and again. Don't get distracted by emotion.
He was not having a calmness of the mind that
Right.
he has to practice, or he has
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like,
Once he understands that everything is just Atma, then it will all become equanimous. If he has equanimity, then he can also realize that which is only Atma.
And in the 10th shloka, when you say that purification of your inner self, and currently it means you are purifying, like you are not having any desires, or what, or you are away from greed. What does it mean?
Yeah, so it is about desires. राग द्वेष से जो है हम
That is pure.
हाँ,
So
and actually it is about getting ekagrata.
and followed by yoga itself.
हाँ,
Ekagrata.
that becomes one, the same thing. The purification of the inner self leads to ekagrata. And that ekagrata in that which is the supreme goal, or the cosmic form, is what is being spoken of here.
So what does purification imply?
Ekagrata.
Ekagrata is concentration and focus.
Well, ekagrata means integration.
Mind
which is
intent also, na? You don't
Integration of
intend
हाँ, एकदम शांत, एकदम एकाग्र हो गया.
anything you are doing with the intention of harming anybody. then
Focused.
It is not.
हाँ.
So that is also purifying yourself. That when you are
हाँ, there are so many other aspects which we'll cover as we go along.
But if my profession is to be a thief,
How can your profession be to be a thief?
Not be righteous. I mean,
She's saying it rightly. You'll concentrate on that also.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And
So
if you're
I
not
should not
peaceful-
be worried about the outcome. My
If,
objective is to break that window, go inside, and get the.
if you are peaceful only,
Pleasures are-
then can you break the window without making a noise?
I have to have the right technology.
Yeah.
So I have to get more skilled in that. Somebody said,
yeah,
you know,
Kids के भी अपने अपने मतलब एक प्रिंसिपल्स होते हैं कि मारना नहीं है, या किसी के बच्चे को